In this video I'm going to do some questions from derivative. The question is asking find f prime a in all of these values. So first of all, the first question I had to use power rule because all of them have powers. So I just use the power rule to find the derivative of that. So let's see. So f prime x is going to be, so in order to use the power rule I have to simply the power rule is going to be like 3 times whatever the power we have, we multiply that one by this number and deduct 1 from whatever number we have in the power. So f prime x is going to be 3 times 2, it's going to be 6 x minus 1, 6x, and minus 4, 4 to the 4 time, minus 4 times 1 is going to be minus 4, and x to the power of 0 is going to be 1, so it's going to be just minus 4. And 1 we don't have to take it because 1 is like 1 time x to the power of 0, because if you don't have anything, it's just 1, right? So x to the power of 0 is 1, so 0 multiply 1, it becomes 0. So if you have any number, the derivative of number is 0, just 0, so we don't have to write that. But the question is asking f prime in terms of a, so we have to write this one in terms of a. So f prime a is going to be I am going to switch a with x, that's it, 6a minus 4. And second question here, it's also power rule, same concept. So it's, in order to change it to the power rule, I'm directly writing f power prime a is going to be 3 times 2, 6 to the power of t 3 minus 1 is going to be square, right? So 6a square plus, and this one multiply here is going to be 1, and t minus 1 minus 1 is going to be 0. So 1 time uh, t to the power of 0 is, it's just 1. Still, whatever the power of any value, any 0 is going to be 1. So 6a square plus 1 is my answer for this question. And the third question, so if you see something dividing each other, we have to use quotient rule. The quotient rule says, like, first we have to find the derivative of the top value and multiply by the bottom value. So if I find that, for example, derivative of this is going to be 2 times 1, the t to the power of 1 is going to be 1, so 1 multiplied by 2, 2, and 1 minus 1 is going to be 0, so 2 times 1 is going to be just 2. So 2 is going to be my, let's try it in terms of a t, and 2 times 1 is going to be just 2, that's my top derivative, and bottom we are going to just write it as the same, t plus 3, and now deduct, and now I have to find the bottom derivative and multiply by the top. So bottom derivative 1, this is in front of it has 1, and this is power of 1, and 1 time 1 is going to be 1, and 1 minus 1 is 0, so t to the power of 0 is 1, so 1 times 1 is going to be just 1. So 1 is the derivative of this whole thing, because 3 times t to the power of 0 is 0 multiplied by 3 is just 0, right? So this is just 1, and the top we write it as same as it is, as same as it is. So it's going to be 2t plus 3. So according to the quotient rule, it's just, first of all we have to find the derivative of the top one and multiply by the bottom one, then minus the derivative of the bottom one and multiply by the top one, then bottom's whole square, we have to square the bottom one. So it's going to be t plus 3 square. So if I solve this one, it's going to end up like 2t plus 6 minus 2t minus 3. So 2t cancels, 6 minus 3 is going to be 3 over t plus 3 square. So instead of wait a minute, so this one is 2t plus 1, I copied this from 2t plus 1, so it's gonna be minus 1 here. So it's 5, right? 6 minus 1, 5. 5 over t plus 3 square. Now I have to write in terms of a. F of a is going to be equal to 5 over a plus 3 square. So this is my third question. I have solved the third question. Now let's move to the fourth one. Fourth one is stating f of x is equal to x to the power of minus 2. This is simple power rule. In order to solve this, f prime x is going to be equal to minus 2 multiplied by 1, so it's going to be minus 2, and x to the power of minus 2 minus 1 is going to be x to the power of minus 3. Now I have to switch it with a. F prime a is going to be minus 2 a to the power of minus 3. So this is my answer for this question. And the fifth question I have to use chain rule. If you see something in a square root, you have to use this chain rule. Chain rule is going to be f of x. So first of all, I have to write it as half, power of half, because so if square root it's power of half. So we have to write 1 minus 2x to the power of half. So in order to find the derivative of this one, I have to use a chain rule. Chain rule says to find anything like this, first we have to use, like, we have to find the derivative of the outside one, this one. So it's going to be half multiply 1, half 1 minus 2x, and half minus 1 is going to be minus half. So this is derivative of outside, and then I have to find the derivative of inside, and I have to multiply this one by the inside one, right? So it's going to be this is 1 time x to the power of 0, so 0 multiplied by 1, it's going to be just 0, and minus 2x, this is x to the power of 1, so I multiply this one by 1, therefore it will become negative 2, and x1 minus 1 is going to be 0, so minus 2 is the only value is left for the inside derivative. Now what I can do is, if I multiply negative 2 and 2, both will cancel, and negative 1 is the only thing left, so I can write negative 1 over whatever the values here. We can put this is negative half, so therefore it's in the bottom square root. Power of half means square root, so it's going to be 1 minus 2x down here. Now what I can plug the a value for the x, minus 1 over 1 minus 2a square root. This is the answer for the fifth question. Let's do the sixth question. Sixth question is asking f of x is equal to 4 over square root of 1 minus x. So in this case I have to use both quotient rule and chain rule together. So let's see what we can do. According to the quotient rule, we had to find the derivative of the top one and multiply by the bottom one. So if I find the derivative of top one, it's 0. So 0 multiplied by any this value is going to be 0, right? So I just put it as it is. I hope you understand, because 4 times if there's nothing, it's mean x to the power of 0, that's why it's 1. So 4 times x to the power of 0, so if I multiply this one by 0, it becomes 0, and if I multiply this by bottom one, it's going to be 0, right? So according to the quotient rule, I had to then subtract this one by the derivative of the bottom one. So in this case, to find the derivative of bottom one, I have to use the chain rule. So let's see. So it's going to be 4 times derivative of bottom one is going to be what? First of all, I am writing in the form of I doing outside of this. So 1 minus x to the power half is going to be the same value, this same number as this. And to find the derivative, I had to find the derivative of outside. Outside is going to be half 1 minus x to the power of minus half. And if I find the derivative of inside, this 1 will become 0, and minus this one will multiply this minus, and minus 1 times 0. So only thing left is minus 1. So what I can do is, so I write this one 4 times half times 1 minus x to the power of minus half, and inside derivative is just minus 1. So I multiply this one by minus 1, and I have to square the bottom according to the quotient rule. So if I square this one, it's going to be 1 minus x. Let's see what we can do after this. It's going to be minus 4 or times half. So we can get rid of this, like 4 cancels and become minus 2, right? This minus 2, and if I multiply the minus 2 by minus 1, it's going to be plus 2. Plus 2 times 1 minus x to the power of minus half. Therefore the final answer is going to be 2 over, if it's minus half, it means I can, to make it positive, I can bring it to the bottom. So it's going to be 1 more minus x to the power of half. It means it's in the square root. 1 minus x. So if I want to write it, this one in the a, in terms of a, I have to write 2 over square root of 1 minus a. This is my final answer. I hope you guys liked this video. See you next time.